Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. I'm Kevin, and I'm so grateful you've taken a moment out of your day to spend it with me, your guide to all things crypto and DeFi. Thank you for joining today's live stream. I have been on the road for the past couple of weeks, and boy, do we have something special for you today later in the stream. Have you ever felt like picking altcoins is like throwing darts blindfolded? Because I sure have. And I did too until I actually used data, not drama. And I did this to cut through the noise, and what I discovered reshaped my entire viewpoint on how really we should look at altcoins and the altcoin markets. So today I'm going to show you how I reshaped my 2025 crypto thesis. Stick around because I'm sharing it all. And after we talk a little bit about the markets. So before we begin, please like and subscribe and ping that notification bell, and understand that nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, just the dad who enjoys the crypto and DeFi space. Now, before we begin, I want to throw out a short plug. I just started a new Telegram group, link in the description. It is open for anyone to join right now. This will eventually become a closed group, but right now we just want to build community. Link in the description, check that out, and support the channel by checking out any of our links below. There's excellent deals going on with Blowfin, Weeks, and if you're interested in upping your DeFi game, check out Crypto Labs Research, 20% off your first month. But again, before we start talking about this, we're going to have a discussion about today's markets, okay? Now, today's markets are very much appearing... Today's markets are very, very much appearing white red, as you can see. Let me readjust my setup real quick because this needs to be over on my other monitor. There we go. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. We got in very early yesterday morning with the family. It had to have been like 2 a.m. and I'm going on very little sleep today, but I did want to do this live stream. If you have any questions, if you want me to check any charts towards the end of the screen, put those in the live chat, please. Now, if we look at the crypto markets today, you can see the market is quite red. Now, we were pumping over the last week. Many of these that have dropped a lot today are still up on the week, like Doge, Uni Token, SNEC, Solana at 8%. That's quite pretty, and we're going to talk a little bit about that a little bit later. But there's others that are not doing so good on the week, like Virtual or Hype is down 8%. World Mobile Token, one of our favorites, down 8%. This is par of the course even during the bull run. Now, let's take a look at just general market conditions today. The Fear and Greed Index was in greed in the 70s, and we are now back down around 67. As you can see, crypto market cap over the last month, or excuse me, the last week has risen quite a bit, all the way up to a high of around almost $4 trillion. Wow. Now, we are getting closer and closer to altcoin season, but as you see here, we are not in altcoin season yet. We are still in the neutral zone. Crypto ETF flows, you can see during the pump over the last couple of weeks, ETF flows have been super high. Look at this. I mean, that is huge inflows. A few weeks back, and there has been a little bit of selling in the market, but that selling has occurred over the last couple of days. Now, what I would like to take a look at next is our bull market sell the top indicators. You can find this in our description. It's going to show you all the different market cycle top indicators. Now, I do not use all these on my channel, but I do check out this page just to get a general idea where the market's at. And as you can see, have we hit any? Not today. Now, if you were to check it a couple days ago, there was a little bit more green when the market was a little bit more heated, but it's not the end yet. But we should have a plan in place for profits. We should have our ladder out strategies in place, what we plan on doing with the profits, when we're going to take chips off the table. Hanging out in the trenches the other day, I heard a few people speak. One of the biggest problems that many, especially beginning crypto investors, have is they'll take their profits. Let's say they make 5x on a coin, or 3x on a coin, or 10x on a coin, or whatever. And instead of rolling some of that profit into Bitcoin, instead of maybe converting some back to fiat, I know that's a dirty word here, but they just have more access to their money, and they're more likely to put it back into the market at the wrong time and lose their gains. So again, please have a strategy, but you do have some time to make this. As you can see, we have not hit a single one of the market cycle top indicators, such as the rainbow price chart, the Pearl multiple, the Pi cycle top, the MA multiplier 2-year, the MVRV Z score, 0, none. But this market can get hot quick, so please keep that in mind. Now, what I would like to do next is just take a look at some of our favorite altcoins that were part of our discussion a little bit later in the stream today. That would be our watch list and our current tokens. So this included Cardano, Solana, Ethereum, Hyperliquid, Sway, Chainlink, Avalanche, Litecoin, Toncoin, BitTensor, Near, Ondo, even Bonk, ICP, Arbitrum. No, I did not include ICP on the list. Apologize there. Render, Say Network, Jupiter, Injective, TIA, Stacks, Virtual Protocol, Immutable X, Aerodrome Finance, Pendle, Pith. Basically, if you follow the ticker at the bottom of the live stream that's showing you current prices right now, those are most of the tokens we used for our analysis of what are the 10 most undervalued altcoins in the market right now. We also use some of the beta plays on Base and Sway, beta play on Base, Aerodrome, and also some of the beta plays on the Sway network like Deep, Sway Lend, and Walrus. Now, we also included coins like Aether, Snack. Let's see what else was in my list. Tau Network, I think I already said that one. Moonwell Protocol, and a few meme coins. Now, I want to start by saying if your altcoin didn't make the list, that doesn't mean it's a bad play. We are looking at undervalued altcoins today. And why are we doing this? Because the market is looking quite hot right now. But before we get to the 10 most undervalued altcoins, I really want to take a look at some news and some charts. So let's take a look at some of the Solana news. And this was big because Solana, let me find it. Yeah, here we go. So the Solana ETF has seen 12.6 million net inflows over the last couple of weeks. That is massive, and that's probably why Solana pumped above $200. Probably an important token you may want to start looking at when to take profits. And we'll talk about that when we look at the charts. Another one, and by the way, all the altcoins news that we're about to discuss deals with altcoin ETFs, right? 21 Shares files the very first spot Ondo ETF as the Trump-backed token is pushing that RWA expansion. On here, we're not we're trying not to be political, but this right here is extremely bullish for Ondo. They have been building. We're seeing a lot of onboarding and push in the RWA space, and this is extremely bullish for Ondo Finance. And then I also wanted to show you one more piece of news, and that is, I'm going to have to pull this off of Crypto Panic, so wait just a second, but it deals with Sway. So the Sway blockchain was one of the VC darlings, which gave it a little bit of bad press earlier in the cycle. But if you go back and look at the chart, Sway has had one of the best, not the best, but one of the best runs this cycle for a layer one, right? Hold on one second, because I'm having trouble getting this to load. Here we go. So this is an article from CoinDesk, and it's discussing the rebound that occurred in Sway. There was a huge dump the other overnight. We did pick a little bit up, not a lot, but some, and the token rebounded quite well. Why? Well, there's discussion and hearsay that there also could be a Sway ETF, which is obviously going to create all kinds of buying pressure for the Sway blockchain. This will be one that, not financial advice, I am buying on dips. An 8% move overnight is pretty big for a token like this, but you do see this in the altcoin market. Now, what I would like to do is take a minute to discuss some charts. Now, I know some of you all come here strictly for the charts. I know many of you come here for the DeFi tutorials, and I know some of you are new. We're going to take a look at the overall crypto market. Bitcoin right now is sitting at $118,480,000. Our high was about 123,250. And our range low for where we exploded up is 112,000. So Bitcoin right now between 112 and 124,000. This is an excellent wide range if you're providing liquidity. I have one Bitcoin position on our Crystal Vault, but that's it right now. So Bitcoin has looked extremely bullish over the last few days. Let me zoom in to this part of the chart. We again exploded all the way up to 23, and we have been range bound, bottoming out around 115,800, and the top of the range is about 120, 151, which has been excellent because we've been able to swing trade this and do extremely well on our Weeks and Blowfin's account. Help support the channel and check out our links in the description. There's a lot of rewards and deposit bonuses going on, and it helps support the channel. Now, taking a look at Ethereum, because I didn't want to spend a lot of time talking about Bitcoin today, actually. Ethereum exploded. Let me zoom down a little bit. Right here, the bottom of the range was around $2,100. Then we explode to $2,500. Then we explode to $3,000, and then we explode up even higher, as high as, 3860, depending on what exchange we're talking about here. Now, the Ethereum chart, as bullish as it's looked, if you zoom out, Ethereum up until the explosion. And this explosion of Ethereum literally over the last few weeks has been, oh my God, 181% so far. And if you measure it from the very bottom of the cycle, we're actually looking at 365%. Now, this is not quite as big as Bitcoin yet, but it's not a bad return. It does circles around TradeFi, that's for sure. Now, what's going to happen with ETH? We don't know. Now, ETH has looked like it's kind of topped out. It looks like we formed a possible lower low on the weekly. And we got to see what ETH is going to do next. Are we going to go down towards 3,000? Are we going to head back up towards 4,100? Now, we are much more bullish on Ethereum than we are on Bitcoin, but the Ethereum chart in the near term right now, and I can show this a little bit more on the daily, it's looking slightly bearish. We got to see, as you see this candle, there's a lot of buying and selling going on right in this range, right where we are right now. So it's just a waiting game. We're not really taking a lot of trades right now. And by the way, if you've stayed this long into the video, here in just a minute, we're going to talk about the 10 most undervalued altcoins. And how I did my research with AI to take some of my emotion and bias out of my decision making. Now, let's take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Because when Bitcoin dominance is going down, Ethereum is going up. And Bitcoin dominance took a massive drop over the last month or so. We're talking, well, let me go the other direction. Over the last month, Bitcoin dominance basically has dropped around almost 7%, which is pretty big for Bitcoin dominance. On top of that, though, we kind of bottomed out around 60% or 60.4 is what I have on my chart, and we have now rebounded back to about 62.5. Now, here's what I believe. If Bitcoin trades within the range we talked about, and going back to that chart, that range is 115.5, 116 to 122, 123. If we trade in that range back and forth, altcoins have room to run. If we begin to get out of the range and go back down towards 112, altcoins are going to bleed back to Bitcoin. Bitcoin dominance is going to go up. The thing is it's getting close to the end of the cycle. I want to be all the way positioned in my plays relatively soon. Hopefully you have been preparing over the last year or two, like myself. If you've been listening to my channel, hopefully since the beginning, then hopefully you're one of those people. Now, taking a look at our next chart, this is the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. I'm going to zoom out to show you where we came from. Yeah, massive down, right? And we are back above the middle of the downtrend range. We are sitting right at about 0.03 right now. And the explosion occurred around 0.024. Now, we could, in my opinion, have a correction back down to our kind of lower end of the range, which could be anywhere from 2.6 to 3.0. If I go on the weekly, though, it gives a better perception of this, or visualization of this. We saw the huge pump from 2.4. We corrected down to about 2.9. And that means that I'm keeping an eye on 2.08. And then the next one would be 2.06. If we correct, I'm going to be going heavy into ETH and altcoins. That's why I'm wearing the hat today, people. Let me know in the comments how you are playing with your crypto portfolio right now. Are you all Bitcoin? Are you rotating into ETH? Or are you one of those degens that's all altcoins? Let me know in the chat, or let me know in the comments. And we're going to take a break before we get into the altcoin market and the 10 most undervalued altcoins, and check some of the comments real fast. Wait 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Well, Welcome to Dad's DeFi Space. If you just got here, if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. Let me know. What are some of your favorite altcoin plays this cycle? Or how are you positioning yourself? Are you mostly Bitcoin? Are you a maxi? Are you just looking at Ethereum right now? Or are you taking a little bit more risk and playing in the altcoin casino? So altcoins are not going to run unless ETH Bitcoin is able to stay above the bull market support band. All right. We're heavily above the bull market support band right now. It's sitting right at about 0.025. So I'm going to mark this on the chart. I mean, it will adjust day by day, and we'll see where that moves over the next few days. Next chart I wanted to look at is the total 3. Now, the total 3 chart is basically all altcoins minus Ethereum, or really the whole crypto market minus Ethereum and minus Bitcoin. We were kind of taking a look at the fib levels. We're going to take this off the chart real quick. You can see that the bottom of our range was as low as $755 billion. And on the weekly, not counting the wicks, that's about 776. The high recently has been 1.09 trillion. Now, I'm going to have to see a break above this 1.05 area. That I need to mark that on the chart also to get back into this upper range. But really, we need to break above 1.16 trillion before you're going to really get that altcoin season. If we zoom out on the chart, you can see, excuse me, this was our cycle top last cycle, and it's kind of looking like this was the mid-cycle peak, and then we're going to have some kind of blow off top here. But I mean, really, if you look at the chart from this one to this one, like what was about only a 15% gain. So a 15% gain, just like last cycle, which we're probably honestly going to get less than that. Diminishing returns, folks. That would put us, I'm going to have to remeasure that. About $1.26 trillion. So, I mean, that would suck if that happens. But I would love to see the total 3 get as high as 1.5, or this yellow line I have marked on my chart, 1.77. This is kind of where I think we could get at this cycle. Mark that on your chart if you want. We will revisit total 3, but I mean, look at this chart. We could easily correct right back down to $228 billion. It's one you really need to keep an eye on. Next, I wanted to take a look quickly at Solana. We're not going to talk about, and I wanted to give you all my first profit target. Now, in my community a while back, I gave my profit targets for Solana. I'll probably be coming up with some videos on profit-taking zones for myself with different altcoins, Ethereum, etc. We've already started to hit some of my Bitcoin profit-taking points, profit-taking zones. But if you take a look at Solana, we pumped all the way back up to 200, which is awesome. But really, on the weekly, to get back above, I want to see us get back above this 252 and break the all-time high. And I think we will. This cycle, we made it all the way to 295. And to be quite honest with you, my first profit-taking target is going to be right here. Actually, not. I'm probably going to go a little lower than that because I think there'll be a lot of sell pressure in this psychological area. So we'll probably unload a nice little part of our Solana at 290, right? Profit zone 1. And what I'm going to do is I'll post a quick video, probably in my Telegram group, and I'll show you the rest of my profit-taking zones. But I will be probably most of the way, if not all the way out of Solana before we hit before $800. Don't really like upper price predictions because it's hard to say, although I will probably hold on to a small bag until I feel like we are going into the bear market. Now, taking a look at our next chart, which would be Sway, and then we're going to come back. I wanted to show you the fib levels and how I kind of was thinking about my profit-taking process on Sway. You can see that this is the fib levels based off the fib extension. Right now our break even still like around $3.36. But if you take a look at the chart on the daily, you can see where the breakdown area is right here. Same price I just said. And we touched back down to $3.52. Upper part of the range is $4.11. And our next fib level, which would be .61 level, which I think is going to be, or excuse me, not the 0.61, 0.78, which is above, not even back up to the all-time high, right? This could be an area of a lot of sell pressure, around $4.50 to $4.60. And then at our one level, we got 533. And my first profit taking point is going to be around, or excuse me, after we break the all-time high, will probably be around $7.50. And that was just one that I quickly calculated with fib levels. I just want to give you a little bit of strategy on how I may. That's just one of the things I would look at when determining a profit-taking zone. You also want to take a look at market cap, previous cycles, and there's a lot of other things you can look at too. To be honest, I tend to reevaluate this once the market starts becoming overheated, but I want to have an initial plan in place and zones. Because whenever these revisions occur, the zones don't change too much, but the market can change. And when the market changes, we have to change our plan. Anyway, let's take this off. And then the final chart I wanted to look at before we get into the 10 most undervalued altcoins today is the Solana Ethereum chart. The Solana ETH chart has been on a massive downtrend. I've been telling you all since way back not early last year, but last fall, Ethereum is going to outperform Solana. Solana had too hard of a run, right? Look at this. Oop. Look at this. Earlier in the cycle. And see that? Wow. Let's fit that to the screen. Huge run. And what have we been on a downtrend? Now, Solana basically has shown strength over the last couple of weeks. It's 0.05 right now, so we're going to have to watch this. But I'm expecting, Solana will show some strength in that. Solana's still going to make profits for everybody this cycle. But this one right now, Ethereum will outperform Solana. Ethereum will outperform Solana. All right. For those who are still with us, we're going to be looking at the 10 most undervalued altcoins this market cycle. And before we begin, I want everyone to understand, if your coin didn't make this list, that doesn't mean it's a bad project. It means, based off of my research and my parameters, AI thought it's not undervalued right now. Now, I have coins in my portfolio that were not considered undervalued, but I do think this can be a great practice to do to take emotions out of the decision-making process. Now, let's take a look, now that we're 30 minutes into the stream, into what I believe to be some of the most undervalued altcoins this market cycle. Now, what's so interesting is ChatGPT, and I'm going to go there first. Has what I think is an excellent, I don't mind if you see some of my work, has an excellent GPT that's an altcoin research analyst. Okay. It's really, really good at pulling the news, insights, social and community, and it can even look on the blockchain a little bit if you really know how to talk to it. I'll mix this with my market insight, which does a lot of analysis to double check my own opinions, my own bias, which we all have. And what it led us to is this article that I posted on Dad's DeFi Space, link in the description. Now, before we begin, I wanted to tell a little story. A few months ago, really a year ago at this point, I jumped into some meme coin degen pools, mainly on Solana on the Orca DEX, which I've made plenty of videos on in the past. Go back and check them out. I was also investing in other small caps and other degen-like assets. And yes, I made some profits because I always take some off the table when it's looking good. The issue is I stayed in some of those meme coin pools way too long because the yields were crazy. We were earning 1,200%, 1,500%. It was nuts. And yes, some of them I made most of my principal back. Many of them I lost all of my gains and then some because we stayed in the pools too long and they began to lose more and more value. That's when we started to study more with the Underdog Investment Group and kind of get that basic knowledge down, when to be in correlated pairs, when not to be, how to mitigate impermanent loss, and a lot of the other things that you're going to deal with as cryptocurrency educated guessing. So the losses hurt my pride more than it hurt my pocketbook, because that's how I play this game. I'm not going to put large amounts of my portfolio into these positions. But I knew I was better than this, and I knew I needed a better system. So what I did a few weeks back, this article was published on July 7th, is I utilized AI to be my research assistant. So what we're going to do now is take a look at what AI thought of my portfolio and my watch list and which ones are the most undervalued coins as of July 7th. Now we're going to have to make a follow-up video and see how this changes over time. It's probably about time to do that also. Now, what I want to take a look at is just go over my process. Okay. There we go. This is Dad's DeFi Space. I have a link in the description to this article. These are some of the top 25 undervalued altcoins that I let ChatGPT review based off my parameters. And remember, none of this is financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Chat is not a financial advisor. Please do your own research, but these can be great data points to start that at. Now, I called this from chaos to clarity. And I was evaluating my portfolio with data, because altcoins can feel like a minefield, right? You got to take a more data-driven approach. So the first thing I found is Chat wanted to organize into narratives and sectors. And I decided with what I inputted into chat, and chat fed back out to me, that probably some of the most important sectors this cycle is going to be DeFi, AI, layer ones, of course, always. Excuse me. And RWA. Now, this is not an exhaustive list. We're also going to look at stablecoin plays, memes, all kinds of stuff. So what makes an altcoin undervalued? See, an altcoin becomes undervalued when the price does not reflect the true potential of the project, right? In terms of either the adoption, the utility, or the technology itself. Now, it's not all about technology. We know this is a momentum-based market, and community and social sentiment move this space. So what are some of the key signs of an undervalued altcoin? Well, first and foremost, a very, very low market cap. Very, very low market cap. And let's zoom in so you can see this a little better in the article. There we go. So first, there should be a low market cap, but high total value locked. That tells you that people are using the chain, whether for trading or DeFi or NFTs or gaming or AI, compute, whatever. Does that chain have an active developer community? Does it have an active social community? This sentiment leads to bullishness for projects. Also, is there any real DeFi or NFT usage? And we're going to talk about that today because we are very bullish on some of the DeFi plays and definitely on some RWA plays. And is there narrative alignment? The AI, DePIN, RWA, stables, GameFi, whatever that narrative may be. The sooner you see those signals, the better you can compare to the actual price of the token. Now, you could have a token that meets every single one of these categories, but you also have to take a look at the market cap and the fully diluted value of the coin. If there's a huge difference between market cap and fully diluted value, those coins are going to end up at the market at some time, and they could suppress the price. Now, there are tokens that they're still going to have a lot of price appreciation even when this happens. So you have to do your research and not just ape into any coin. So every coin we evaluated was based on 4 parameters that we put into ChatGPT, and that was narrative fit for the 2025 bull market, the on-chain metrics of the token, like total value locked, the growth, developer activity, wallet adoption, DeFi usage, etc. By the way, with DeFi tokens, this is really, really easy to do on DeFi Llama. We looked at the tokenomics and the launch style. I had them use token unlocks for that. Fed a lot of data into chat. That's how the more data that it can get and get access to, the better output it sends out and the more reliable that information is, right? So the tokenomics, was it fairly launched? Is it a VC heavy coin? So I use these 4 filters along with the fully diluted value, market cap, and a little bit of technical analysis. And I curated a list out of my watch list of 25 altcoins. And they're sorted by category and undervaluation potential. Now, some of these are price related. Some of these are narrative related. Some of these, it took a bigger look at the technical analysis and the momentum in the charts. So let's break this down sector by sector. And I want to start with layer ones. Okay. Now, some of the layer 1 platforms that we're going to discuss include the Sway ecosystem. And Sway is having an exploding DeFi ecosystem. We have been over the last year farming on AlphaFi, providing liquidity on Bluefin and Cetus before it was hacked. and the total value locked is just growing, growing, and growing. We used to have a big DeFi lending position on Sui Lend. Had a couple nice airdrops of that. It's awesome. But lately we've been hearing a lot about the Sei network. Now, I'm just full disclosure, Sway in my portfolio. Now, Sei is a high-speed trading blockchain, and really, in a sense, I consider it underappreciated with the infrastructure potential it has. Now, it's showing bullishness currently. Total value lock has been increasing and more trading is occurring on the network. We did last pump sell off all of our Sei. I have consolidated most of our position into injective. Like I said, I'm going to give you what I do, where my conflicts of interest are. You take all this and make your own decisions. And if you want to really see this kind of content before it comes out on YouTube, follow us on X at CryptoZone1013. We'd also love to see you on our Telegram group, link in the description. Now, the Sei blockchain, a lot of the social sentiment has really been up on this one, and I'm starting to see more videos and more discussion of it on crypto Twitter. But our next one is Near Protocol. Near Protocol, it started as a steady, quiet, great developer activity. It was a layer 1 blockchain, speed and integration. But over this cycle, they have been pivoting into the AI narrative. We're going to have to see how this plays out. There hasn't been a whole lot of buzz about Near, but we still hold a large position in Near that we are staking. Not all of it, of course. Now, Tron would be a stablecoin play. We hold no Tron, although we have considered it for this one reason. This is Justin Sun's blockchain, and Tron has massive stablecoin inflows, yet it's still ignored by all those Western markets. It's the largest stablecoin network in Asia. It's kind of at a high valuation right now, but that doesn't mean it still can't grow. Another one we looked at was Cardano, and don't kill me, Cardano fans, but over the last year, there has been lower sentiment on ADA. They do have an extremely fervent community, which can translate into massive pumps at times. And it has an academic base and very active updates. So there's a lot of communication, especially with their pseudo leader and creator, Charles Hoskinson. Hoskinson, excuse me. If ADA can secure more utility as how they're describing how they want to pivot into a Bitcoin layer 2 like CoreDAO or Stacks, that would be hugely bullish for ADA, but they have to have more utility and they need more total value lock. Now, we're not going to go over these three. ETH, SO, and BNB are all overvalued right now. They are some of the, I almost consider them in a realm of their own. And then we have AVAX and TON, which I know some people in the crowd are bullish. I do have a nice AVAX position. I've sold out of my TON position, but AVAX has not had as much hype as some of the other chains. I'm not actively accumulating and haven't been for a while, but I am holding on to my AVAX. I have also Ethereum and Solana, but everyone here should already know that. And then we look at DeFi lending and stable protocols. Aave, not one that's in our portfolio. The DeFi OG, growing RWA and stablecoin integrations. TradFi is going to love this one. We do use it for a lot of lending, but we don't hold much of the token. This is a very blue chip DeFi play, and it's going to be around for a long time. The OGs in the yield farming and DeFi space will tend to hold Aave as a strong, larger cap altcoin. Really, I consider it kind of more mid cap. Then you have a much smaller market cap token with Maple. Maple is tokenized credit markets. This is going to be huge for TradFi. Hopefully, they can increase their total value lock even more. Stablecoin yield utility. They have the syrup token. Well, actually, we've made more money shorting this one than accumulating this one. But That's one we looked at. Then we looked at Arrow token. You know that we are extremely bullish on Arrow. If you follow me on X, we were kind of getting into a discussion on price targets for Arrow the other day. I'll be a lot out of my position if we hit close to $10. Let's just say that, or hit $10. Jupiter, Solana's trading backbone, DEX aggregator, strong fee flows, but price action has not been correlated with the amount of building going on here, and has a lot of negative social sentiment. It could go either way. In my opinion, I'm still holding my Jupe, but we did unstake our Jupe because I want to be ready to do what needs to be done if it does need to be done. We'll reevaluate this in 30 days once all those tokens are unstaked. Then some of the smaller cap ones we have Deep, which was actually core to Sway Network, Moonwell Protocol, which is a lending and DeFi protocol on Base and Ethereum and Optimism. And then Ondo Finance is a top RWA play. It's the Trump-backed token. It is the BlackRock-backed token. It is going to be especially big as institutions flow into the crypto space. We do have a nice little Ondo bag that we are actively accumulating on dips. Now, our newest coin that our next category is AI compute and infrastructure. 3 tokens are going to be Tau, Render, and Aether. Now, Aether and Render are very similar. They are AI, GPU rendering. Render's more GPU rendering, like graphics, a little bit of AI, where Aether is more AI and a little bit of graphics, but they're kind of a very similar token. Now, Aether is a much smaller market cap. I'm very bullish on it. We've been actively accumulating this. Render, I'm just holding as of now, and kind of debating if this is going to be a position that we hold, add to, or cut. Tau, though, is the one we've most recently been bullish with. It is the leading decentralized AI chain. It has a lot of momentum right now, especially with the creation of utility subnets. I've written an article on Tau on Dad's DeFi Space. You can go find it on there and have kind of chart lists of all the different subnets that you can invest into, their use case. All those networks are vying for Tau tokens that they mine through how much good information they give into that AI decentralized chain. To me, this sounds very bullish. There's a lot of use case for it, and some of the staking yields on the subnets are ridiculous. And many of these tokens have bled a lot. This is going to be something that we'll be researching in more detail over the next few weeks. And then for GameFi, I really only looked at 2 tokens, and one of them did not end on the list, and that's IMX, or Mutable X. It's an EVM layer 2 for Ethereum. It's a Web3 gaming infrastructure. I have not actively added to it, but if I feel like the gaming narrative is beginning to get a little more bullish, I'll probably add into this position, and I'll add into my Beam position. And then the last, but certainly not least, are meme and community tokens. Meme and utility tokens. Now, right now, the only meme token I've actively accumulated is Dog, and we are looking at a smaller cap one that we just discovered the other day that I'm not going to mention here yet. Of course, we have the few tokens that we built on Pump.Fun when Rainbow Kitty, made by my own daughter, or I had to make it. She just told me what to make. But that's just a joke. It's not even worth anything. No utility. But there'll be links. And then a lot of these actually are either Solana or Ethereum plays, like WIF and PopCat. We have sold off our WIF position. I do still have a little bit of PopCat, not much at all. We watch Fartcoin. It has been looking extremely bullish lately. And then, of course, the big boys. And these are probably the safest to invest in. You have Doge, the granddaddy of all meme coins. It's a legacy brand. It's a proof of work blockchain. Its grandfather is Litecoin. And then you have Pepe, which is basically the ETH meme coin beta play. But it's a short cycle token, right? No developer activity. It's overvalued, but it can pump. And when it pumps, it really pumps. And of course, there's smaller ones like Foxy on Linea, which has the kind of MetaMask wallet narrative, et cetera, et cetera. Now, what I would like to do now is, we're going to look at the AI list, and we're going to check out which coins are the most undervalued top 10. Are you ready? And then at the end of the video, I can go into my chat and show you some of the deeper parts of the process. So in number 10, we have most undervalued altcoins on Dad's DeFi Space list. That would be Render token. So Render, as we said, AI median rendering infrastructure, it was on a massive downtrend, right? If we take a look at the Render chart, let's do that real fast. This is going to be my favorite part of the stream, by the way. You can see that on the weekly chart, it has been on a downtrend since its peak. We haven't even gotten back past our lower high here, which is sitting right at about 540. Although it has seemed a little bit bullish since the bottom when we were around $2.76. Maybe this is one we should dollar cost average, but I just don't think this token is going to give my portfolio as much gains as, say, Aether and its smaller market cap, or Tau token, which seems to be so active right now. But Render token's actually making money right now. And if we go down on the daily chart, really what you want to do, honestly, and I want to see if I can pull this up, is you want to gauge these tokens against Bitcoin. Because if it's not, like this one, not beating Bitcoin, it probably should just be in Bitcoin. And you can check different altcoins over Bitcoin and see which ones are showing strength. This one was rejected at the bull market support band, not looking good on the daily and on the weekly, kind of touching it, so we don't know yet. But that's the Render chart. It's looking pretty bearish. If we zoom out, we're in the bottom of the range. But when it pops, it pops. So I do not think I'm going to sell my Render at this point, but it's just something in the cards in the near future. Number 9 on our most undervalued altcoin list is Dog. Now, we have been actively accumulating Dog token. Now, Dog token is the rune on Bitcoin. Let's see if we can pull this one up. It may be. We can pull it. It's on Coinbase derivatives, but I don't really want to pull that chart up. We can look at Dog. Binance. No, that's Doge. Excuse me. Hold on. Sometimes it's hard to locate these, you know. We're just going to pull this off of our watch list. Be so much easier, right? Now, Dog. The Dog token is probably one of my favorite meme coins. Dog is on the Bitcoin network. The people who bought some of the early kind of NFT-like stuff that on Bitcoin, which was ordinals. This was runes. It's kind of like meme coins on the Bitcoin network. We'll take a look at Dog token, which is at 0.0036, and see if we can put it on a log chart and go back on the monthly. We've kind of found a hopefully a bottom around 0.003. We are below that right now. But if you look at on the year, the chart actually doesn't look all that bad on the yearly, right? And same thing. I love that. It's almost like a dog token is in a trading range. And to me, with a meme coin like this on the Bitcoin network, that's bullish. I like that. And ChatGPT thinks this one's undervalued. So let's move on to token number 8. Token number 8 is Deep. And Deep is a order book and DeFi play on the Sway network. It is much lower cap. Let's take a look at Deep real fast on coin market cap. Not all these are easy to find on TradingView, so it'll be so much easier to just pull it up on here. As you can see, this chart, we had an uptrend from fall November 2024 to January, a serious dip, a huge explosion at the bottom of the range, and then now we're kind of trading within a range between 0.11 cents and 25 cents. This is not one that I'm accumulating a lot of, but I have converted a little bit of Sway into Deep based off of this being considered undervalued right now. Our next token is number 7, and that is the Jupiter Solana DEX Aggregator Core token. It's a DAO token. You can stake. There's a lot of ASR rewards and incentives. The price of this token has not done very well over the last little bit of this cycle, and I can show you this in the chart. So if you bring up Jupe token, I mean, technically it is undervalued. It sits at about a $1.6 billion market cap, but the fully diluted value is actually 3.85. I've seen worse, but that is almost a 3x difference. Now, if we take a look at Jupiter, all-time high, was $1.74. We bottomed out recently around 34 cents. This one has not performed very well, and we've kept a large portion of our stake. Thank God, we've been earning 10% a quarter on most of those staking rewards. It hasn't really barely kept up with the price depreciation. That's why I've unstaked, and we're going to kind of wait and see. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do yet. We may start farming a little bit of this again. I'll keep you posted in my Telegram, link in the description, and I keep people posted on X, CryptoZone 1013. Check that out. And then, so Jupiter, it's hard to say, but if we can get back above about $1.25, $1.30 and break this high right here back in February, January, Jupiter could really start to explode. They are entering some like burn mechanisms, but they do seem kind of a little bit on the smaller side. There's a lot of good Jupiter content on X. Tend to share some of it on my profile there. But let's now take a look at number 6. Our number 6 most undervalued coin is the Sway blockchain, which is nuts because I didn't even think this one would make the list. And we bought a crap ton in the $2.50 or $2 to $3.50 range. We paid down most of our loan because that's how we bought such a large amount of it. This is an underrated DeFi layer 1, in my opinion. It is VC backed, and I know that turns a lot of people off, but it has performed very well this cycle, and strength begets strength. If the coin looks strong, I'm going to stay in it. But the Sway blockchain, we can pull this one up on TradingView. And I showed you earlier, it looks awesome. This is one that over the next few months, I hope to take a ton of profits on and rotate back into stables, earn some yield on those. All right, we're at our halfway point, and what was the 5th most undervalued coin in Dad's DeFi space list? Well, Tau blockchain. And Tau is a blockchain that we just started accumulating during the last dip. Tau's, again, we said earlier, it's AI compute, explosive potential. and their subnet utility staking narrative stuff bullish. We are going to do some more deep research on that and try to make some more videos in the near future. All right. Since we're halfway through our most undervalued altcoins, I would like to take just a little break. Check out the chat real quick. All right. Nobody's there. Or not there, but no one's left any comments. I'd also like to take a look at, hold on here. All right. But before I move on to the second half of the 10 most undervalued altcoins rated by AI, I wanted to take a look, not take a look. I wanted to ask you, what are your most undervalued altcoins right now? What narratives are you bullish on? Did any of yours make my list? Because I bet so. Let me know in the comments. All right, getting back to task, we're going to take a look at the fourth most underrated blockchain in this space. And that would be IMX, or Immutable X is number 4. Now, Immutable X, GameFi, infrastructural play with real usage. As I said, we have a bag. I'm not actively accumulating a lot of this one, but I am considering rotating as the GameFi narrative. It tended, the last cycle, it picked up towards the end of the altcoin cycle, right at the very end. So we'll probably earmark a little bit of profits to take a look if it's going to be worth it to rotate some profits into Immutable X. But other people might be way more bullish on gaming right now. IMX is an extremely undervalued coin, in my humble opinion. Now, remember, all this data came from July 7th, so we probably should do an update video. All right. Coin number 3 is the Aerodrome DEX reward token, Aerodrome Finance, and that's the AMM, Automatic Market Maker Dominance on the Base Layer 2 blockchain created by Coinbase. Base has come out with their new wallet. They're building up Zora and their kind of social decentralized network where you can actually like earn. I'm trying to get on the wait list there, or I am on the wait list. I'm waiting to get my code so I can join. But Arrow is going to be an excellent beta play for the Base network. And I know we're not all happy with Coinbase and their data leaks and everything else and them going down when it gets really bullish. But you can't not be bullish on this kind of utility connection to Coinbase. They are a publicly traded company. I mean, there's a lot to say there. So we are bullish on Arrow and believe this token will be a great proxy as the Base Layer 2 blockchain increases in usage. But that was the third token on our list, and it has actually shown a little bit of strength over the last couple of weeks. So that one could have actually moved a little bit down on our list as undervalued. We are still loaning out a lot of our Arrow, and we've used some of it to pay down our loans. All right, number 2 is Maple Finance, which is a institutional credit market pioneer. Their token is Syrup. And you actually can earn, the other day, the yield on Syrup USD on Camino was literally like 25 to 28%. We did not catch any of that, but I bet you those yields, they've gone down a little bit with this dip in the market, but I bet they still look pretty good. I'd check them out if you're into earning some yield on your stable coins. But just as the market heats up, Maple or Syrup has a great opportunity to catch a piece of that market action in the RWA space as far as earning yield, credit markets, and earning yield on those stable coins. All right, let's look at our final and number 1 position. You can see the whole list right there. Take a picture. And that is Aave, which is crazy because Aave actually has a very, very large market cap. going to take a look at the Aave chart real quick. Aave is a DeFi lending protocol. It is the, as we said earlier, OG of the DeFi lending space. Safe, effective. You don't get quite as good yields there, but you do get a lot of safety. And sometimes yields there are pretty good, depending. We use Aave for DeFi lending and to leverage up our positions by borrowing USD and depositing our assets. Now, in a bear market, we're going to do the exact opposite, and you would short the market or long the market. And we'll talk about, I have some videos on how to long the market using DeFi looping. Check those out on the channel. And here in the near future, we're going to make some about how to short the market. So Aave is above the bull market support band, which right now is sitting at about $248. Right now, the current price is $291. Bottom of the range was $115 recently, back in April. It has been on basically a tear since then on the weekly. And if we go in on the daily, we have dip. We could easily, revisit our next support, which would be around 259. If we get down this range, I may consider picking up a position of Aave with some of my ETH. Don't know yet, but Aave, #1 undervalued altcoin on my list per ChatGPT. Now, the final thing I wanted to look at today, and give me just a minute to do this, is I wanted to take a look at the prompts that got me to got chat to do some deep research on some of my portfolio, right? And I'm gonna probably make this up to into a document and post it in my new and free right now, right? Telegram group. Here's the God. I was in the wrong thing, excuse me. My gosh, it's not there. So hold on 1 minute, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm hoping this is the right one. Because if you've stayed here till the end of the video, I have a chart that I think you're really going to like if you haven't already checked it out in the article link in the description. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to go way back up to the top of my conversation. All right, well, we are having trouble finding what we need right now, so I apologize. Once I locate chat, I'm going to convert it hopefully into a usable prompt, right? Hold on 1 second. I may have found it. All right, I'm going to show this to you real quick if you were willing to stay around until I figured this out. And this is going to be the prompt that I'm going to be posting into Telegram, or you can just type it in yourself. I'm all about sharing, educating, and helping others in the space. I'm going to try to zoom in so you can see the prompt, if it'll let me. All right, there we go. All right, the prompt is right here. And you're basically framing ChatGPT that Chat's a seasoned crypto investor and altcoin analyst. You're going to evaluate a list of altcoins based on a comprehensive valuation criteria a professional would use. For each token, you're going to provide a detailed analysis and rank them from undervalued to most overvalued using this structure. For each token, you're going to look at market cap and fully diluted value, the market cap tier, large, mid, and small cap. You input your narratives into number 3. I did layer 1 DeFi, RWA, stablecoins, AI meme, DPIN, blah, 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 blah. You're going to look at performance year to date, the monthly, the weekly, the valuation stance, bullish, neutral, cautious, bearish. And you're going to look at key insights like recent ecosystem updates, total value lock, developer activity, DEX activity, etc., partnerships, utility, network traction, market sentiment, funding, catalyst events, speculative risks, and overhyped signals. And then it's going to group the tokens into narrative clusters. And I left a list of resources it can use to research. You will be able, those who are in my Telegram group, to get access to this prompt. It works excellent. You can do your own research on your own altcoin or your own portfolio. And we need more of this in this space. So that concludes the live stream today. And if you enjoyed my live stream, I would like for you to share this video with somebody who will benefit from content like this. Like and subscribe, ping that notification bell, support the channel. Check out Underdog Investment Group Weeks and Blowfin. Get some of those rewards, help support our channel and our work. Check out dadsdefispace.org, find us on X, and of course, join that private Telegram. Right at the very end, I just wanted to give a quick update on my KRYSTAL portfolio. I thought I had it up, but I must have already closed it out. So we're going to take a quick look at KRYSTAL Finance. I'm still in the same positions, but I did change some of my ranges and some of my automations. And I'm wanting to deposit a little bit more capital. The market is down. It'd be a great time to add to some of these liquidity positions. If we take a look over on KRYSTAL Finance real quick before I end the stream, you'll see, well, I wish I could have showed you a couple days ago because the yields were ridiculous. We were making 400% on Morpho. There's a video that we posted a few days back on that position specifically. The virtual position has been earning very well. Yes, these coins are down 8% over the last little bit, but our fees are keeping up with all that impermanent loss, even with our automation strategies. And I'm gonna give you a look at what we look at right now. Now, our total vault, we lost a little bit of earnings here. That was on me. We were dealing with some family emergencies and I did not rebalance all the positions as quick as I should have. The total value of this is around $1,000 of all of my vaults, but we're going to specifically look at the DADS DeFi Space Vault. Right now it's sitting at about $780. I have a $30 profit margin, which is about a 4% gain. That's even after the losses. The APR is even higher than the last few days at 225%, just under 225%. And our total value locked is just under $1,000 at $934. If you take a look at our positions, we have a wrapped ETH USDC position with a 12% range. It's earning almost 100% APR right now. It's 13 days old. We make sure that our positions stay wide and earn fees for as long as possible, but we want to keep those ranges narrow enough that we can really get those sweet, sweet high yields. And then virtual USDC 0.3. By the way, the wrapped ETH USDC is a pancake swap position, and the virtual USDC position is a Uniswap position. It's been open 17 days. I'm averaging anywhere from like 300 to 500%. Right now we're sitting at 489%, and it's generated around $50 fees. And then we have a very small USDC Bitcoin position, Coinbase wrap Bitcoin position. It's earning around 50% APR and has most of the time. And then a USDC Morphle position that has dropped a little bit in yield. We're going to have to keep an eye on this one, but we've been just watching it. There's just a little bit of money in there, although I am considering adding to this position. Well, we should have pulled out some of the virtuals position when we were pumping and used some of that, some of the profit to build that other position. But that's on me. But this one is performing very well, right? And if you're interested in following along or joining us in the vault that Dad's DeFi Space is managing, link is in the description. There is a 5% commission fee, but the yields on this have been absolutely awesome. And that's 5% on the rewards, not on the total principal, of course. That would be ridiculous. And right now we have 3 participants, 2 others with me, who are participating in the Dad's DeFi Space USDC fund. And if you're interested in joining, check that out. But that about concludes my live stream for today. I hope that all of you here really appreciated the knowledge, the content, and what we have to offer. We've been here a long time, almost an hour and 20 minutes. Please go outside and touch some grass. If you can't watch this entire live stream, I'll be cutting it up. We'll make it into some separate videos a little bit later. But I hope you took some knowledge on how to research, how to create profit targets, at least one way to do it. And this quick little update on our USDC Dad's DeFi Space vault on crystals, which I've really been enjoying their vault function. Be safe out there. Make sure you take some profits this cycle. Hey, if I'm sounding a little bit too bullish, rein me in the comments. So I'm going to end this stream to say, go outside and touch some grass. That's what I'm going to do. Probably going to go to the pool in a little bit. And I wish each of you a great day and a great rest of your week. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, peace.